बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। अस्सलामु अलल हुसैन व अला अली इब्निल हुसैन व अला औलादिल हुसैन व अला सहाबिल हुसैन। इन्नल्लाह व मलाइकतहु यसल्लूना अलन नबी या अय्युहल्लज़ीना आमनू सल्लु अलैहि व सल्लिमू तस्लीमा। अल्लाहु अकबर, अल्लाहु अकबर, अल्लाहु अकबर, अल्लाहु अकबर। अशहदु अल्ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह, अशहदु अल्ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह, अशहदु अन्ना मुहम्मदर रसूलुल्लाह, अशहदु अन्ना मुहम्मदर रसूलुल्लाह, अशहदु अन्ना अलिय्युन वलियुल्लाह व औलादहुल मासूमीन हुज्जतुल्लाह, अशहदु अन्ना अलिय्युन हुज्जतुल्लाह व औलादहुल मासूमीन हुज्जतुल्लाह। हय्या अलस्सलात, हय्या अलस्सलाह, हय्या अलफलाह, हय्या अलफलाह, हय्या अला खैरिल अमल, हय्या अला खैरिल अमल। अल्लाहु अकबर, अल्लाहु अकबर। ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह, ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह।
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، بارئ الخلائق أجمعين، باعث الأنبياء والمرسلين، ثم الصلاة والسلام والتحية والإكرام على الأفضل الموجودات، العبد المؤيد، الرسول المسدد، المصطفى الأمجد والمحمود الأحمد، الذي سمي في السماء بأحمد وفي الأرض أبي القاسم محمد. اللهم صل على وآله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين، واللعنة الدائمة على أعدائهم أجمعين من الأولين والآخرين. آمين يا رب العالمين. فقد قال سبحانه وتعالى في كتابه الكريم وهو أصدق القائلين وقوله الحق: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل لا أسألكم عليه أجرا إلا المودة في القربة صدق الله العلي العظيم بآواز بلند صلوات عليكم السلام. السلام عليكم جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala بحق أبي عبد الله الحسين عليه الصلاة والسلام accept all of your amal, your ibadat, your coming and attending the majalis of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam, shedding tears for Imam al-Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam, wa ashab al-Hussein wa awlad al-Hussein. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cure all those who are unwell. There's a request for dua for Brother Riaz, who became unwell last night during Azadari Matam in Imam Hussein Foundation, and who's currently in hospital due to a heart attack. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bihaqqi Sayyid al-Shuhada alayhi salatu wasalam give him a swift recovery, shifa ajila wa kamila insha'Allah, with the loudest of your salawats. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farajahum. As we are literally at the end of the first ashra, the ashra ula of Muharram al-Haram. You know, you wait all year and how quick the days go by. But the reality is that despite our shedding tears and coming together for Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam, our tears are not able to recompense the drop of the tears that drops from the eye of the mu'min and the lover of Hussein is not able to recompense the drops of the blood of Hussein that fell on the day of Ashura. And though I recited the ayah of the Holy Quran, قُلْ لَا أَسْأَلُكُمْ عَلَيْهِ أَجْرًا إِلَّا الْمَوَدَّةَ فِي الْقُرْبَةِ, the famous ayah known as the Ayatul Muwaddah, which you all know. Marhum Syed ibn Tawusi says, even if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had not revealed this ayah in the Holy Quran, we would have still loved Imam Hussein alayhi salam. You know, we don't need this ayah to tell us to love Imam Hussein or to love Ahlul Bayt alayhimu salatu wasalam, or that the love of the qurbah, the family members of Rasulullah is wajib upon you, though it's in the Quran. However, Marhum Sayyid ibn Tawusi says, even without this ayah, Hussein is someone who deserves to be loved. Ahlul Bayt are someone who deserve that mawaddah. And for this reason, the azadari that we hold in these 10 nights and, you know, all the way until the end of Arba'in and after Arba'in, 2 months or so, and 8 days, it's a part and parcel of this ayah that we express our love for the family of the Prophet. And if you look through the narrations, it was the Imams themselves who asked people to come and recite for them the tragedy of their grandfather Hussein. Imam Ali ibn Musa Rida alayhi salatu wassalam, he would invite people to come and recite. Or Da'bal, come and recite. Or Fulan, come and recite. The way you recite in your country. A person came from Iraq. Imam says, you are from Iraq. Recite for me how you recite the musibah in Iraq for Imam al-Hussein. Those Imam didn't ask him to change. He says, how you recite in your watan, in your country, you recite for me like that. And the Imam would sit and cry as this person would recite in front of the Holy Imam. In fact, the first reciter of the Masaib of Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam was Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told Jibreel, "O Jibreel, go and tell the Prophet that this Hussein that he holds in his hands will be killed thirsty in Karbala." So the first person who recited the Masaib of Hussein is Allah to Jibreel. And then Jibreel recites to the Prophet. So you can say this is the first majlis of Hussein in the house of Fatima. The first reciter is Jibreel through Allah. And the first listener and the first mourner is the Prophet, who listens and he begins to cry. And then Bibi Fatima joins him. And so after the return, when Ahl Haram, Ahlul Bayt were released from the shackles, from the prisons of Bani Umayyah, and they came back to Medina, the first person who recited Masaib for Imam Hussein amongst the men was Imam Sajjad alayhi salam. And the first lady who recited the Masaib of Ahlul Bayt of Karbala from amongst the ladies was Bibi Zainab Kubra, salamullahi alayha. And so it was under the instructions of Imam Sajjad and Bibi Zainab that Imam Sajjad would gather the men, and there would be a member, and he would sit and he would recite Masaib. There was no Fazail at that time. It was just Masaib. They would sit and they would just recite Masaib, and people would cry. And Bibi Zainab would do the same in the ladies. In fact, we even have hadith. As Bibi Zainab would recite the Masaib of Imam Hussein ﷺ in the ladies, Imam Sajjad would be preparing the food outside. The niyaz, the tabarruk, for those who come and lament. And in Medina, the first lady, before Ahl Haram returned, before they entered Medina, the first person from whose house, screams of sorrow and grief were heard was the house of Salma. When she saw that sand had turned into blood that Rasulullah had given her, her cries were heard in the area. And when they asked her what happened, she tells them that today Hussein has been killed in Karbala while you sit in Medina. The first person to wear black, wear black? The first person to wear black, Salma, for Imam al-Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam. And we even have traditions when Asma bint Umais, her husband Ja'far al-Tayyar, was killed in the battle of Muta. The Prophet instructed Asma, wear black as a sign of grief, as a sign of azadari. So wearing black from Hazrat Asma, from Salma, and today it has become a sign of tashayyu, a sign of sorrow, a sign of azadari, to put on black clothing in the month of Muharram. And so the Shias have known to be known as wearers of black. Recite salawat. And how Imam As-Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam promoted the azadari. He says, whenever you hear the Masaib of Hussein, turn towards Karbala and 3 times say, Sallallahu alayka ya Aba Abdullah. Sallallahu alayka ya Aba. He says, Qul sallallahu alayka ya Aba Abdullah, tu'idu dhalika thalatha. Repeat this 3 times. فَإِنَّ السَّلَامَ يَصِلُ إِلَيْهِ مِنْ قَرِيبٍ وَمِنْ بَعِيدٍ. He says, even if you are close or far, qareeb or ba'id, your salam will reach Aba Abdullah al-Hussein. Doesn't matter where you are. The Holy Imam says, qareeb or min ba'id. Your salam will reach Sayyid al-Shuhada alayhi salatu wassalam. He says, whenever you drink water, every sip of water, remember the thirst of Hussein. Every sip of water, curse the enemies of Hussein. And that's why Imam Sajjad alayhi salam, whenever water would be brought to him, Imam would first shed tears and then he would drink. And then he would hold the water and he would curse, and he would look at the water and he would curse the enemies of Imam al-Hussein. He would look at this water and he would say, for this my grandfather Hussein was killed. What is this sip of water? And so azadari was promoted throughout the lives from the time of the Prophet, from Al-Jibreel, from Allah, all the way until the 12th Imam. The famous mashhur Ziyaratul Nahiya al-Muqaddasa is from the 12th Imam. And the Holy Imam has recited Masaib in this ziyarah. He's mentioned names. Let's look at the azadari which took place in Karbala. Al-Malhuf says, when the women were taken captives after Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam had been martyred, Their tents were burnt, they were driven out of their tents. They ran out uncovered, bare feet in tears. Their property was plundered and stolen. Yet they came out. And Bibi Zainab Salamullah Alaiha says, I ask you in the name of God to take me to my brother Hussein. And you know how she came to Imam al-Hussein? When she came to the body of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam. When the women were paraded through, when they were taken captives, they were asked to go to Kufa, they were paraded through the bodies of the Shuhada that still lay there on the plains of Karbala. The Rawi, the narrator says, when I saw Zainab on the body of Hussein, by God, I will never forget that day. How she lamented and cried over Hussein. He says, by God, I will never forget the reaction of Hussein when she came and stood on the body of Aba Abdullah. And she said, cried out, Wa Muhammada. She turns towards Medina and she cries out, Oh Rasulullah, Wa Muhammada, Hadha Husainuka bil Ara. Oh grandfather Rasulullah, this is your Hussein, who lies covered in his blood on the plains of Karbala. He does not have a kafan. He does not have a shroud. Needless to say that he did not even have a head on the body. And what did she do? This is azadari. This is where we get it from. Do you know what she did then? When the women saw the bodies of the martyr, they screamed and they slapped their faces. They screamed and they lamented and they slapped. Bibi Zainab, she slapped her face when she saw the body of Aba Abdullah al-Hussein alayhi salatu wassalam. Kulsum, when she comes out and when she sees the body of her brother Imam al-Hussein, she says something which has gone down in history. She says, Oh grandfather Rasulullah, here lies Hussein. His turban has been stolen. His clothes have been removed. In other words, whatever Imam Hussein had on him, you know, on the day of Ashura, before Imam Hussein left for jihad, he came back in. He says to his sister Zainab, Oh sister Zainab, bring me old clothing. An old cloak, ripped, torn. You know why? Only in the hope that the enemy will not remove that, because it's old. Yet the reality is they left nothing on Hussein. And I end with this. When the women were paraded, when the daughters of Hussein were paraded, Zainab threw herself on the ground. There was a 3-year-old daughter. She threw herself on her father. Now how does a daughter lament? So next time when you sit in the azadari or you stand in the halqa of matam and you beat your faces and your chest, remember this is the sunnah of Zainab. This is the azadari of the women of Ahlul Bayt. By God, they were not given the chance to cry. Whenever Bibi Zainab wanted to cry, Shimmer would pick up the whip and he would lash at the ladies and tell them to move. That's why we cry today, because Zainab was not given that chance to cry. Ala lanatullahi ala al-qawm al-zalimin. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala curse each and every one of those who were involved directly or indirectly in the killing of Imam al-Hussein wa ashab al-Hussein wa awlad al-Hussein. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, oh Allah, give us the tawfiq of the ziyarah of Sayyid al-Shuhada. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, oh Allah, and if we die before that, give us tawfiq to benefit from the shafa'ah of Abi Abdullah al-Hussein. Make the mother of Hussein Fatima radhi with us, Ya Rabb al-Alameen. In these holy nights, especially tonight, Shab Ashur, and tomorrow the day of Ashura, oh Allah, allow us to shed tears for Abi Abdullah. Accept our du'as. Forgive us of our major and minor sins through this azadari and the tears that we shed, Ya Rabb al-Alameen. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Wal asr. Inna al-insana lafi khusr. Illa alladhina amanu wa amilu salihat. Wa tawasaw bil haqqi wa tawasaw bis sabr. وعجل فرجهم. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم سبحان من سبقت رحمته غضبه إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على سيد المرسلين وخاتم النبيين محمد بن عبد الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم والصلاة والسلام على أمير المؤمنين وقائد الغر المحجلين علي بن أبي طالب صلوات الله عليه والصلاة والسلام على صديقة الطاهرة الشهيدة والمظلومة والمقتولة فاطمة الزهراء صلوات الله عليها والصلاة والسلام على سيدينا الإمامين الحسن والحسين سيدي شباب أهل الجنة والصلاة والسلام على 9 المعصومين من ذرية الحسين علي بن الحسين زين العابدين ومحمد بن علي الباقر وجعفر بن محمد الصادق وموسى بن جعفر الكاظم وعلي بن موسى الرضا ومحمد بن علي الجواد وعلي بن محمد الهادي والحسن بن علي العسكري والحجة بن الحسن المهدي صلوات الله وسلامه عليهم أجمعين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم كن لوليك الحجة بن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك توعى وتمتعه فيها طويلة برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين صلوات صلى على محمد وعلي محمد وعجل فرجهم وصاحل مخرجه. As you know, there's been some sad news that has come out of Syria, Damascus last night in the area of Sayyida Zainab, salamullahi alayha, where there was a bomb blast which has targeted a procession that was taking place around the vicinity of, as is this time of year, it is packed with pilgrims and zawar of Sayyida Zainab, salamullahi alayha. Unfortunately, this bomb blast has targeted the mourners of Sayyid al-Shuhada, and many of them have lost their lives and some of them still remain in critical condition. And we pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protects the lives of all of the mourners and all of the Azadaran Sayyid al-Shuhada wherever they are around the world, and that the culprits of this crime, heinous crime, are brought to justice by the authorities of the Syrian government. And we pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that no such events or tragic events unfold in the coming nights and hours as we head into Ashura, and as some people in some countries already are doing Ashura today. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect their lives bihaqqi Sayyid al-Shuhada. Recite salawat please. But the reality is, though a bomb blast targeted these mourners, I guarantee you tomorrow there will be even more people there. It will not deter the people. And it is as if the enemy is stupid and doesn't learn that targeting the Shia and the mourning processions and the julus has never put a stop to these processions, neither has it decreased the number of attendees that attend. And I guarantee you, this Ashur and coming Arba'een, the number of people attending will only increase. So it is as if the enemy every time fails in its plans and plots. Because the mourners of Hussein, the lovers of Hussein, are unlike any other mourners or lovers that you may find around the world. Like are the companions of Hussein, for which Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam says, فَإِنِّي لَا أَعْلَمُ أَصْحَابًا أَوْلَى وَلَا خَيْرَ مِنْ أَصْحَابِي. Imam Hussein alayhi salam says, I don't know of any companions more loyal and greater than my companions, min ashabi. وَلَا أَهْلَ بَيْتٍ أبر ولا أوصل من أهل بيتي. I do not know of any family members greater than my family members, Imam al-Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam says. فَجَزَاكُمُ اللَّهُ عَنِّي جَمِيعًا خَيْرًا. And then the Holy Imam alayhi salatu wasalam says that your jaza is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He says there are no companions like mine and there are no family members like my Ahlul Bayt alayhimu salatu wasalam. And then after saying that, on the night of Ashur, he gathers his companions and he says to them, look, the allegiance that you gave me, I take it back. You're free to leave. The Holy Imam says, I will show you your station, your maqam in paradise. Tomorrow the enemy will find me, and once they find me, they will not come looking for you. It's night. Use the darkness of the night as a cover to escape. But you know who the first one who rises up and speaks up? Abul Fadl Abbas salamullahi alayhi. He says, Yabna Rasulillah, how is it possible that on a night like this, the most difficult night, we leave you and we escape in the darkness of the night? May we and our souls be ransomed for you, Ya Aba Abdullah. The Imam says, no, I guarantee you paradise. Some of the Maqatil even say the Imam even showed them their place in paradise, to make them mutma'in. That are you now mutma'in? Are you now satisfied that this is your place in paradise? Now go. And then the son of Muslim ibn Aqil, who was in Karbala, Abdullah ibn Muslim ibn Aqil, he rises up and he says, oh Uncle Hussein, you want us to leave you? You want the people to say that we left our uncle at a time when he was surrounded by the enemy. We are the sons of Muslim ibn Aqil. And then Imam Hussein says to Abdullah ibn Muslim, you have sacrificed enough. Your father Muslim ibn Aqil has been killed. This is enough. You go. O Ali Aqil, O Ali Ja'far, return. And then he turns towards the companions. Subhanallah. And this is why the Holy Imam says, فَإِنِّي لَا أَعْلَمُ وَأَصْحَابًا أَوْلَى وَلَا خَيْرَ مِنْ أَصْحَابِي. What do the companions say? Zuhair ibn Qayn al-Bajjali, he rises up and he says, by God, even if we are killed, burnt, our ashes are blown in the air, and this is repeated 1,000 times, مَا تَرَخْتُكَ يَا Hussein. We will never leave you, O Aba Abdullah al-Hussein. Look at just look at the kind of companions Imam Hussein had around him. Rasulullah didn't have these companions. These companions, Imam Hussein says, only I have such companions. Even my grandfather, whose companions, people go on and on about the companions of the Prophet. By God, the companions of the Prophet do not come close to the companions of Abi Abdullah. Show us companions like those of Imam al-Hussein in Karbala. And then people say, we don't mourn companions, we don't cry for companions. We mourn and we cry for them for 10 nights in Muharram. The Holy Imam says, return. Shemr even comes out and he says, I will give immunity to the sons of al-Baneen. Because Lady al-Baneen's tribe had tribesmen on the other side. They said, look, Abbas and his brothers, they're the sons of our tribe. Write him immunity, a letter of immunity. Shemr comes out and he says, where are the sons of Baneen? 4 boys come out, Abbas and his brothers. And he says, look, I have got a letter of immunity signed by Ibn Ziyad, that if you join us, you shall not be touched. There is safety for you. Tonight is the last night. Tomorrow, nothing will remain. But you know what the brothers of Abul Fadl Abbas and Hazrat Abbas, what they reply, and it has gone down in history. Look at the bravery. Look at the loyalty. The courage that comes out from these brothers. They say, O Shimr, may Allah's curse be on you and your immunity. May Allah's la'an be on you and your immunity. You expect us to take this immunity while the son of Fatima has no immunity. He says, return. Hazrat Abbas says, return. or I'm not responsible for what I do with you. So they tried until their last moments to encourage either people to desert Imam Hussein by offering them prizes and golden coins, or to offer them immunity. But yet the companions and the family of Hussein, by God, will go down in history that never will you find companions like this, and never will you find family members like this. And I go on and say, I go and step forward and I say, never will you find mourners like the mourners of Hussein. That despite a bomb blast in Damascus in, say, the Zainab area yesterday, tomorrow there will be more people there. Arba'in, there will be more people there. And next year there will be more people there. Every year, the numbers of the Zawar of Ahlul Bayt are increasing. The numbers of the Azadaran Sayyid Shuhada are increasing, because never will you find companions like those of Hussein. Never will you find mourners like those of Hussein. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of judgment raise us amongst the Azadaran of Sayyid Shuhada, the mourners of Abi Abdullah, the Zawar of Abi Abdullah al-Hussein alayhi salatu wassalam. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, bihaqqi Abi Abdullah, give shifa ajila wa kamila to all those who are unwell. Brother Riyaz, our respected Mr. Shah Sahab, who has been unwell for the past few days, and anyone else who's asked me for du'as if I've missed their name, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give them shifa ajila wa kamila bihaqqi Abi Abdullah al-Hussein. Those who are with us last Muharram and are not amongst us here, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala raise them with Ahlul Bayt, with Imam al-Hussein fil Jannah. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Qul huwa Allahu ahad, Allahu samad, lam yalid wa lam yulad wa lam yakun lahu kufuwan ahad. قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا